a lot of guys I've met that are wrestlers, that are fighters that also wrestle, attribute so much of their success to wrestling.
Yeah.
Do you kind of feel the same way?
I feel that I had like an advantage, at least having that somewhat of a background, kind of like a jump start, because there's a couple guys that we train with here that none of them had it, you know, and you could tell you're more along in the fight game as far as that, because so much of it is the ground, you know. So many great wrestlers in high school, just, you know, all state, whatever wrestlers, all they got to do is get somewhat of decent hands, and they're already ahead of the game in MMA, where other people are just starting from complete scratch, you know. So I feel that it is a little bit of a competitive advantage. One of the trainers here, a good friend of mine, James Singler, he's my striking coach, has been ever since I started. Played poker with him all the time. He was doing boxing back in the day, and he kept bugging me, you know, because I was playing football. Hey, you know, this would be really good for your football cardio. Come in, get some hand work, you know, hit the mitts, you know, hit the bag, whatever. So I ended up, you know, he talked me into it, so I came in, and that season, that was my last season playing football. I mean, it was like I fell in love that quick. It was, I mean, I was fourth or fifth year playing with a semi-pro team here in LA, and I was over it, you know. And when I first, I mean, because I had been in like a couple fights in high school, or, you know, growing up or whatever, and I was always thought I was like a decent fighter, you know. I mean, I was gonna be proud of fighting in the streets, but like. And then I came here, and it's just a rude awakening. Like, oh, you're not that good at all, you know. So at first, I was like, oh yeah, no problem, go in there. I'll probably be fighting in the first couple months. No, I mean, it was like a year and a half before I ever stepped inside the ring or competitively. Because I got there and I realized how horrible I probably was, you know. So I had to, you know, start over and start, you know, learning my hands. Jiu-jitsu was the biggest adjustment, of course, because there's so many things to learn. I mean, you people train 10, 15 years and still, you know, barely get to the top. But it's, like I said, I found love ever since I started. The only time I ever questioned myself, like, why am I doing this, is like in the middle of camp, and you're just tired as hell. That's the only time you're like, fuck, man, I'm over this. I don't want to do it anymore. Never like when we're fighting, am I like, dude, why am I doing this? That's the fun part. It's the competitive part. Like when you play football, like you consider practices was like the hell part, and then, you know, the games were your paychecks. You know, that's the fun part. You know, so. But the training and like the grind and the dieting and stuff like that, that's sometimes why I question why am I doing it. But as far as like whenever people ask that, like, why do you like to get punched in the face, it just, for some reason, it makes me smile. I think it's funny because it does take a very unique person, I mean, to want to go out there. And when you see what happened on TV, some people leave and they got scars that'll never come off their face. You know, and it's like, I think it's a fun sport, and it's, you know, the sky is the limit with how much you can learn. So I mean, to me, it's a blast. It just happened probably like 3 months ago. I recently just bought a home in Camarillo. If you would have told me 4 years ago that I would be 29 years old, be a pro fighter, undefeated, and own your own house, I probably would have told you you're full of shit. I wouldn't have believed it at all. But you know, it's happened. I mean, this is another thing too with fighting. It helped me save, you know, a bunch of money, save it up, because I do have my 40-hour-a-week job. You know, and that pays the bills, and then fighting, and I've been putting all that money into savings. I ended up just being able to, you know, buy my own house, which I thought would probably never happen with the way the house prices were a while ago. I think our team's great. Like I told you before, we only have me and myself and Jamie, Tony, that are the pro fighters, and we do have plenty of amateur fighters. Real close group, kind of like a brotherhood type deal. And you know, we all joke around, and I mean, just clown on each other, and it's just like it's like all brothers, you know. All my coaches are great. James, Jamie, Boss Root himself, Carlo Deckers, Jiu-Jitsu Rodrigo, and they're all the same way. You know, they're just like us. We all goof on each other, and it's just like it's a real good group of guys. You know, I have my solid core group of friends like that I grew up with, and I still hang out with them. But like these guys are like a whole. I mean, you know, I'd be pretty disappointed if I never got to meet these guys, you know, because they're, like I said, they're real good quality guys, and they would do anything for you any given time, you know.